So this is obviously a major escalation. Why do you think Putin has been so measured and relaxed with his response? It seems like they're trying to bait Putin to maybe escalate on his end, but I think he's been patient and he's been playing it out correctly. Why do you think he's, kind of tolerating these incursions into Russian territory, attacks on civilian populations, when you have the drone strikes that hit civilian towers and things like that? Why is Putin taking it from this perspective where he wants to respond, but in a patient and measured manner?
Well, let's look at it from the Ukrainian perspective for a second. They're losing, hands down. There's no amount of military assistance, weapons, money that can be brought in that's going to change this outcome. The strategic, imperative has gone over to Russia. Russia is now on the path towards a decisive victory. The only thing that could change that outcome is if NATO intervenes. So now, put on your Russia hat. You're winning. Sanctions haven't worked. You've not only survived sanctions, but you've rebounded it on Europe and the United States. The European economy is collapsing. You're getting stronger. Your economy is performing in ways that nobody ever thought it would. So you don't want to disrupt this. You're doing well on it. Your military is operating on all cylinders. You're winning the war on the ground. Your defense industry is up and running. You're producing millions of rounds of ammunition. Europe can't produce any ammunition. You're getting 30,000 guys to volunteer a month to go to war. Patriots. Ukraine can't get anybody to volunteer. They have to kidnap people. NATO is dysfunctional. Yes, you lose a ship or two in the Black Sea. Yes, they blow up an oil refinery here. Yes, they do a drone strike there. But it doesn't change the strategic outcome. Right now, as things stand, Russia wins. So why would you do something that is the biggest gift possible to the Ukrainians? Why would you overreact and do something that could possibly precipitate a NATO response?
So even though it's an incredibly dangerous escalation to send 2,500 troops across the border with U.S. equipment, Putin still understands, while this is a red line, you just crossed it. I'm not moving from my position because my position, is the best position for me to be in.
I'm going to kill those 2,500 guys, destroy 36 tanks and all your equipment, and then I'm just going to be cool about it.
Right.
I'm
so
not
it seems like they're aware that these escalations will continue to take place, and they're just preparing their border defenses and et cetera, to tolerate them and deal with them.
They are on a path towards victory, and they're not going to do anything to cause them to deviate from that path. Right now, they're, according to a very senior Russian general with direct combat experience on the front, by May, the belief is that the Ukrainians will be unable to hold the current positions and they will have to withdraw to the Dnieper River, a strategic withdrawal. And that will probably precipitate a general collapse on the part of the Ukrainian military because they don't have the resources, and Russia will exploit that. And by September, Russia will be in Odessa, Kharkov, Dnipropetrovsk, and the war will be over. So that's the trajectory they're on. Why do anything to upset that?
This video is sponsored by you. That's because we don't have any sponsors. All we have are supporters like yourself. So please consider making a contribution to our channel. You can give to us via the Buy Me a Coffee link in the description of this video. That way, we can continue to fly guests like Scott Ritter to our studio for an insightful podcast from which we can all benefit, like the one you're watching right now. So please consider making a contribution. Thank you for your support.
Trust nothing.